Hi everyone! In this video we're going to be looking at Pythagoras Theorem, which is a theorem linking the sides of a right angle triangle. So the first thing you need to know is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the side that is opposite the 90-degree angle. And normally we call this side C. The other two sides we call A and B, it doesn't matter in which order. So the relationship between these three sides on any right angle triangle is c squared is always equal to a squared plus b squared. Usually the first thing that I get my students to do is draw the example 1 triangle, and then we'd actually measure the side of the hypotenuse together. And normally we would find that it is really close to 5 centimeters. It may not be exact because when we're drawing, we might not get the angle correct, or the pencil might be too thick, or sometimes you might be a few millimeters off. But that's okay, because it's meant to be 5, and I'll show you why. Okay, so remember the hypotenuse is opposite the right angle, so that's the hypotenuse. We're going to call that C. And we know c squared equals a squared plus b squared. This is the correct setting out for how to find the hypotenuse, especially when you get into high school. The setting out has to be correct. Okay, to find c squared, we know that c squared is going to be equal to, I can choose whichever side to call A. I'm just going to call this A and call this B. So 3 squared plus 4 squared. Then I need to work it out. 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. 9 plus 16 is 25. So that's c squared equals 25. That means c equals the square root of 25, which equals 5 centimeters. Don't forget your units. And there we have it. That's why that the hypotenuse, when you draw a 3 centimeter and 4 centimeter right angle triangle, the hypotenuse will always be 5, or as close to 5 as possible. Okay, moving down to our next example. So we've got the side opposite the right angle triangle is our C. So c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Always start with a formula. We can call that A, call that B. It does not make a difference. 12 squared plus 5 squared. Now always plug in the numbers first. Don't just go a squared is 144, because just in case you do actually write down the numbers wrong in a test, you might lose 1 mark for it, but you will still get the rest of your marks. So please make sure you plug in the numbers before you work anything out. 12 squared is 144, 5 squared is 25, and I end up with 169. So c squared equals 169. That means c must equal the square root of 169, which equals 13 meters. Don't forget the units. Okay, moving down to our last example. Our last example is not going to be a perfect number, and so we're going to leave it as a third to make it the exact number. So again, opposite the right angle triangle is C, and then I can choose A and B. C squared equals A squared plus B squared, which equals 7 squared plus 10 squared, which equals 49 plus 100. 49 plus 100 is 149. So c squared equals square root of 149. And you can actually just leave it like that, because that is the exact answer. Oh, I shouldn't write units actually, because I know the units. The units are centimeters. So cm. And that is actually your exact answer. You can work it out on a calculator. So if the question is asking you to find it to 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places, obviously work out that third. Okay, hopefully that helped you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.